Welcome, everybody, to the Genesis Mindset. And in today's episode, I had to do a double episode today because it was the reveal of Maria. So, just in case that news still hasn't received you, Maria, the 414 dev, revealed themselves to the world. So, there was a meetup in Europe and people took a video. So, there actually is going to be an extended video, apparently, hopefully, with that full interview with Maria. So, I'm really looking forward to that. So, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you a little clip of that. And I'm going to go into how that actually affected the market, which I think is phenomenal, which I think is very, very interesting, because what I'm seeing is I'm seeing signs of confidence in the market by the fact that Maria actually revealed themselves. So let's get into it. And of course, the hidden opportunities that people I think are still sleeping on. So let's get into it. So here we go. Maria. Face reveal, Atropa developer Maria Rahel explains dysnomia L2. So I'm not going to play the whole thing. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to play my favorite part of it because of the thing that is explained. So let's have a listen.
New thing that hopefully drives the layer two to be like more of the foundation for how the initial involvements with the layer 2 are going to be. Because when I think of the dysnomia project, the goal is building a planet, essentially. And so if the cap and trade system can be designed to mimic these same organic structures of how one piece grows into the next piece, and control of the initial planet world becomes based on the initial investments in this cap and trade puzzle. It could work out really interesting. It could.
Okay, so I'm just going to leave that there. So that is on. I will leave the link in the description, but that's on KSB TV. I'm actually going to be doing a stream with those guys in a week or two's time. So stay tuned for that. I'll inform all of you on that. What I loved about that is Maria revealing more alpha about what's actually going to happen with the dysnomia layer 2, and the analogies. I loved the analogies, the analogy of a planet. And my favorite part was talking about how these new things can actually grow into the planet. I loved that because that's the way that I've always seen the Atropa ecosystem. Well, not always, but as I've learned more, I've started to see, hang on a minute, this is something that can just go on forever. Because okay, if you're in Atropa now, brilliant, kudos to you. Like, you're blessed, you're so blessed. If you're in any of those tokens, we're all blessed. We should be so grateful to Maria if this actually takes off. And if this takes off, it's just going to keep going forever because we can just keep plugging into this ecosystem. New tokens can plug into the ecosystem, leverage off the growth of the ecosystem, and it will all these little pieces that keep going into the planet will grow that planet even more. And it's going to grow everything around it, and the planet's going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and it can just infinitely scale. There is no limit. There's no limit. I mean, I don't know. I don't know the math on it. I'm sure maybe there is some math on it, but the way that I perceive it in my mind, the way that I have always perceived it in my mind, is that there's actually no limit to how crazy this can get. So, and the beauty is, it's not like everything is PvP at the moment. This so it's so genius. Everything is PvP. So you trying to sell your bags to everybody else, everybody knows, it doesn't matter what words you use, everybody knows that they want you to come and buy their bags. That's what it's about. If I'm listening to somebody tell me to buy, I don't know, Cardano, then he wants me to come and buy his bag so he can be enriched. That's how cryptocurrency works at the moment. It's PvP, single, everything just goes up individually, and then it's just a big game. And then when your bag gets big enough, you sell out, and then you just dump on everybody else that bought. And then there's all these losers, and they hope to God, they keep praying that it's going to keep going up. People getting trapped in XRP for like 10 years or whatever it is. And you know, who's doing all the selling? Brad Garlinghouse. The foundation's doing all the selling. This is what cryptocurrency is. That's the epitome of the filth in cryptocurrency. This is entirely unique. This is entirely revolutionary. This represents a new paradigm, a new system, a new mathematical system that everybody can actually win in. So it's not about, I could talk about Atropa forever. Maybe I could be talking about Atropa in 10 years' time. Hey, Atropa is the greatest thing ever. And people that hear about it, it's not like, oh, I don't want to buy that person's bags. His Atropa's worth whatever, $50. I don't want to buy that. There's no way that I'm going to make money out of it. No problem at all. You can buy anything in the bottom parts of this. You can buy anything in the bottom or the outer layer of that planet, and it just plugs into it, and it can grow, and you can get your Atropa through that. It's brilliant. The other thing that I wanted to share was the cap and trade. So when he talks about the cap and trade, I actually had to Google that because I didn't actually know what that means, and I think this emphasizes the point. So this is on Investopedia, cap and trade basics, what it is, how it works, pros and cons. So a common term for a government regulatory program designed to limit or cap the total level of emissions of certain chemicals, particularly carbon dioxide, as a result of industrial activity. So I'm just going to leave, actually, I'll leave this here while I explain to you what I think about that. So a common term for government regulatory program designed to limit or cap the total level of emissions of certain chemicals, particularly carbon dioxide, as a result of industrial activity. So he's talking about cap and trade systems. So I'm thinking about this in the context of what does this actually mean? I mean, I could be looking way, way wrong here, but what this means to me, as soon as I read it, was the total level of emissions, aka sellers of certain chemicals, so emissions of certain chemicals, aka sellers, particularly carbon dioxide, sellers, as a result of industrial activity, as a result of tokens going up. So industrial activity is a price chart going up. That's production. The consequence of that, the negative consequence of that, is eventually there's sellers, and the sellers destroy it. So this idea of minimizing the cap and trade is part of what the Atropa ecosystem is all about. So yeah, we're so blessed. We're so blessed. Honestly, today I was just like, man, I almost want to go all in with my pulse chain. And my friends are like, Steve, don't do it. Don't do it. But I'm so bullish. I'm so bullish now. I'm just getting more and more bullish. It's crazy. It's crazy. And not only that, how it actually impacted the market. It's like the effect it had on the market. Look at this across the board. Atropa pumped, pDAI pumped, Teddy Bear pumped, TSFI pumped, BFF pumped, TRSI pumped, pump. You get the picture. Teddy Bear 9. So this is Teddy Bear 9 to the forked wrap Bitcoin. Mantisa pumped. Oh, guys, like, and okay, we don't know if it was everything that was getting bought, but this is the beauty of the system because it's all liquidity bonded. It doesn't all need to be getting bought up. It could just be one thing's getting bought up. Let's say pDAI, the confidence now goes up because Maria's revealed themselves to the world. It's like, okay, this dev is actually a normal human being, even though the chat log sounds ridiculous half the time. Like, man, those videos that I did on the chat log, go have a look at some of those videos. I'll put them up here. It did my head in. It really did my head in. It's so difficult to read, and everyone, it initially put me off at first as well. And there's so much babble in there, but I think that's kind of like part of the puzzle, part of the mystery, part of the fun, part of the game, part of trying to work it out. And now that it's like, okay, there's actually a face to this. So it gives confidence to the market. There was over 3,000 views on that video. It's like the whole ecosystem is like alive with buzz. As a matter of fact, I think you should go check this one out. I'm not sure if I can link other people's videos, but if I can, go check out. I'll leave it in the description. Otherwise, the interview today, the 4-way interview on Access Alive's channel. So that was a really, 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 really good stream. So I strongly recommend you listen to that. I've listened to it twice already, and I'm probably going to continue to listen to it because this is something that's so deep. It takes a lot of it takes a lot of different ways of consuming the information for it to actually like connect the dots in your brain. It's not as simple as A, B, and C. And I love, I love in that video, Maria was like, said something about like in a continuation from that, talking about the libraries or something, and like, oh yeah, no, it's just simple math. Like, I'm just like, bro, nothing about this is simple math. So it's hilarious, but it probably is simple math. It probably is simple math, but it's so deep and it's so layered and it's so rich. And for me, I don't know about you guys, for me, that's the best thing. Any work of art that I love is a work of art or a piece of architecture or a piece of music. Like my favorite band of all time is Tool. And Tool is a kind of band where I'll listen to the album once and I'm like, Then I listen to it again and I'm like, oh, here we go. Then I listen to it again. I'm like, yes, this is the best. This is so good. Lateralis, Fibonacci sequence. It's like, God damn, this is ridiculous. To me, that's the best. And that's what I see with the Atropa ecosystem. That was the same with Hex, man. It was so multi-layered. People are still trying to learn it. People are still trying to understand it. So this is what I'm seeing with the Atropa ecosystem. This is what I'm seeing with everything that is happening with the 414. So let's go back to the charts. I want to emphasize this. So let's have a look at this again. So pDAI, I'm just going to zoom in on pDAI here, actually. This is why now things have become very, very bullish for me. So this is, oh, you dog. I got to bloody, hang on a second, put my footer on. So put the footer on. Look at this. So we're getting very close to breaking the pulse chain. This is to pulse. So it's come out of this little zone here, this little key zone here. And I was saying this the other day as well. It's like, wow. I was talking about this the other day. And I'm not just because I was talking about it, don't look at me like, oh, we're going to listen to what he's saying because it's, it's a fluke, man. Like, but it did look like, okay, the price action here is stalling. It wants to do something. It's struggling to break out of this zone here, which I identified. Like this whole zone here is like a key zone. A lot of price action going up and down here. A lot of price action moving up and down here, bouncing off it, through it, back down, through it, back down, up, and then back into it, down below it, bouncing off it a couple of times, now into it, almost through it, bouncing off it. Now like, oh, this energy, which way is it going to go? And it's pushed through. So Maria showing his face was like a bullish thing for the ecosystem, and it's broken out. So now it's still got a few levels to go. It's still got this level. It wants to break past this level, but we're very close to breaking all-time highs against Pulse. So this is mega, mega bullish, because this has been one of the criticisms against pDAI and the ecosystem, particularly by the Tang Gang, that it hasn't broken against the Pulse chain all-time high. So if it can do that, amazing. So very, very excited for what can happen here. And this is only, it's only it's a 2x away, 2.5x away, essentially. So we're almost there. Now, again, some of the alpha that I was hearing from people. So actually, you know what? First of all, oh man, I love this community. I love you guys. Like, you guys are so kind and generous to me. And it's really like, I had a stream today with Stu. He sent me some Stu. He sent me 3690. Thank you, Stu. He sent me a game. But not only that, like just in the DMs, you guys are like really just pleasant, just a pleasant community. And I said this on Twitter the other day. I don't actually see. I said to Too Spooky, actually, like, what was he talking about? I can't remember what it was. It was, again, something about Atropa bros. And I was like, man, you guys literally are the ones who start everything. And he's like, well, do you want me to pull up the evidence? And I said, you know what? Don't bother. Like, I'm really not interested in the evidence. All I know is that you guys literally created a campaign to FUD pDAI. They get together in their spaces and they make campaigns to FUD other ecosystems. That's not putting out a good energy. I don't see the Atropa ecosystem putting that energy out. You know what I see? I see these awesome, like, open-hearted, open-minded people that are seeing this magic, that are attracted to this magic. They're attracted to it by the virtue of their mind, because it is about giving. It is about making the world a better place. It's about this whole new system. So the level of thinking and the level of heart that people have that are attracted into this system is different. And I don't see, yes, I do see Atropa people be negative on Twitter as well, but it's only out of retaliation. Like I've seen Hodonomics, like lately, he's on fire. He's had enough. He's had enough. Like it went on for too far, and I personally don't want to. I don't want to get involved with that kind of vibe. I'm just going to observe it, but I'm also going to neutrally say, look, guys, this is actually getting out of hand without actually putting any negative energy out there. But the way that you guys are handling yourself, the way that you guys embrace me as well, I love you. I love not just guys and girls. I love you. The comments, it really keeps me going. It really keeps me motivated. Again, man, let's just keep sharing. Let's just keep growing. So back into the episode. So I want to show you pDAI, of course. Okay, so pDAI, don't forget the 99 Capital. So I'm going to link that video up here as well. The 99 Capital about the pMakerDAO Vault. So the pMakerDAO Vault, it has pUSDC in there as well. So for me, pDAI is yes, pDAI is the play. It's like the safest one. And Richard Hart has come out and said these have admin keys, so they are at risk. But he also has said if anything happens to these, people can actually come after pUSDC and pUSDT. They can come after the organizations and they can sue them if anything actually happens to these tokens and they switch them off or they rug it or something like this. So there is that external risk because of admin keys. But I do believe that this is going to be an integral piece of the puzzle because it's tied to the pMakerDAO Vault. And look at the premium that you're getting. This is 23 pulse per 1 pUSDC versus 34 pulse to pUSDC. And the best is pUSDT. Yes, they are risky, but I like playing risk. So I do have more of these. I like this one. This one is a sleeper. And I think this is something that's going to be coming up. Steady Pup was talking about this being linked with Mantisa, which is going to be a core coin. And I think Mantisa and pUSDT are things that are going to be coming up. I think everything now is the focus on pUSDC and pDAI and the focus on that part of basically bringing that up to the pSTABLES. But again, Maria, even at this talk, talks about pSTABLES, doesn't talk about pDAI. That's what the guys were telling me. It's pSTABLES, but only the community saying pDAI. So again, I implore you, not financial advice. Don't go out and buy it. Consider yourself maybe thinking about these as a better deal. That's personally what I've done. I've been getting those as a better deal. And as a safety net, I will be rotating some of that into pDAI. That's just me. But I keep trying to present that to you guys because I really just it's great value. But again, not financial advice if anything ever does happen to them. But you also look at the ratios as well. So pUSDC to pDAI at the moment, this is where I swapped out some of my pDAI for pUSDC. And it's an even better deal now. So it was at about the 80. So yeah, one of the things that I really have to get better at with swaps and sells is looking a little bit more long-term. When I look more long-term, things work out. So this would have been much better down here. Would have been getting, an extra, a lot more basically. So if you're swapping out, oh boy. So yeah, whatever. Okay, if you had $1 million and you're swapping it for this, you'll be getting, I think, 1.68 million. I think that would be the math. So it's going to be either 1.68 or 1.42. I think it's 1.42. But anyway, you're getting a better deal. So, and then as it comes back up to this line, because it was here for a long time, but it's only been since pDAI started to explode that the ratios have gone out of whack. But I do anticipate pDAI is going to have some sort of cool off period soon because it can't just keep going up forever, right? There's going to be sellers. We want it to go up forever, but let's just be honest. It's not going to just go up forever. That's not how markets work. It's going to have a cool off period. Atropa is going to have a cool off period. It's going to have a bear season. And I'm going to be here to tell you guys, hey, I'm going to be starting to accumulate. I'm going to try and identify where that bear season is, and let's get back into the accumulation and building phase. So that's something to consider. And then there's also these ones as well. So pUSDP and pFrax. So again, the more risky ones, but how many people are buying this? I have no idea. But look what they're doing, man. It's all liquidity bonded. They're moving up anyway. So this is the pulse chain. It's moving up anyway. So you could buy this and nobody else is buying it. You could get way more of these without affecting the movement of the chart too much. And yeah, you can just sell it, like if that's what you want to do at some point. So in any case, just a short one today. So just some updates, because I was pumped. I was so pumped when I saw that, and I was pumped to see that the whole market was also pumped. That really excited me. That really warms my heart. So I think there's going to be a lot more confidence in it. Access to Live starting to talk about it. He's starting to he understands it now, and I always knew this was going to be the case. And I'll admit this has been part of the strategy that I've had with trying to help people understand, is like, okay, who are the ones who are the most open-minded? I knew Sommi. I knew Sommi was going to catch on to it, because Sommi's like, he calls himself a peanut brain, but he's not a peanut brain. I knew he was going to catch on to it. I knew he was going to see it. I knew he was going to see the ratios. And Access Alive, I know he's open-minded. I knew he was going to see it as well. CryptoCoffee is another one. I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, but yeah, we've been chatting about it. CryptoCoffee is another one that he keeps his eye on it. Like, people are keeping their eyes on it, guys. So once more of these bigger influencers start to really talk about it and really start to see the beauty of it and the magic of it, and don't see it as a threat to Pulse Chain, but as a plus to Pulse Chain, as a plus to Hex, then this ecosystem can really thrive. And from day one, I think this is what the whole Atropa ecosystem has been about, because there's so many different tokens. So it's almost forced us into like not be PvP. It's almost like we really do have to work together to build up this whole ecosystem, rather than just my token. What's my token? I want my token in this ecosystem to grow. That's really been a defining quality of this ecosystem as well. So with that, just going to finish with a book reading. So again, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So this is the habit of being proactive. So proactive people are still influenced by external stimuli, whether physical, social, or psychological, but their response to the stimuli, conscious or unconscious, is a value-based choice or response. As Eleanor Roosevelt observed, no one can hurt you without your consent. In the words of Gandhi, they cannot take away our self-respect if we not give it to them. It is our willing permission, our consent to what happens to us that hurts us far more than what happens to us in the first place. I admit this is very hard to accept emotionally, especially if we have had years and years of explaining our misery in the name of circumstances or someone else's behavior. But until a person can say deeply and honestly, I am what I am today because of the choices I made yesterday, that person cannot say, I choose otherwise. What I love about that is it's about taking responsibility for yourself, taking responsibility and not blaming the world, and being proactive. And this is something that I really see with the Atropa ecosystem. This is something that I see. This is just the mindset that I really try to build anyway. I've continuously tried to take action, and I love that there's these people in here as well. And I also wanted to read that as well because of Gandhi's words, where we are the ones that choose how we actually perceive the person's words. So again, like when I said before about the Tang Gang, I mean that. Like the Atropa ecosystem, in my opinion, it's on another level. Like there's no they're a different level. They're a different level. But even like Tang Gang, like it's a gang. Like the word itself creates an atmosphere that draws in particular kinds of people, and those people are very like, they're all fighters, man. They're all like, you know, when you've got the top guy talking like, you know, just swearing his guts off at people's faces and blocking people left, right, and center, that's the vibe that your community is putting out. That's the impression that it's putting out, and it's going to rub people off the wrong way. I want to continue to nurture this beautiful quality that I see with Atropa. I want us to just be bigger than those comments. Read those comments. Don't get offended. If you get offended, just look at it. Like, because it offends me too. It offends me too. I look at it and I'm just like, the pit of my stomach just wants to go, but I'm like, what's the point? What's the point? It's not going to solve anything. It never, ever does. It never does. Let people talk. What speaks louder is results. And the results are coming. We are in the best ecosystem on the best blockchain at the best time to be alive. Thank you very much, everybody. Take care.